Forever Evil Arkham War number 3, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Scott Eaton. So last issue, we had Bane, we had the Arkhamites having a plan to break into Arkham to steal the Talons. It was kind of going off without a hitch, but then Bane stepped in, managed to capture Man-Bat, and keep one of the Talons for himself. So this issue picks up with Mad Hatter and Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is the one who's doing the unthawing of the Talons, and he's basically like, everything in my previous stories tells me I hate Talons. Why should I be helping them at all? And Mad Hatter reminds him, you're not helping them, you're helping us, your other Arkhamites, because Bane is coming, and if we don't have Talons, we're going to get our asses handed to us. So at that point, we cut to Killer Croc coming out of the sewers with Scarecrow in his arms. Turns out that when Bane was laying the smackdown, Croc managed to save Scarecrow. Scarecrow leads him to Wayne Tower and basically says, hey, Croc, thank you so much. I really owe you one. And I'm going to pay that off right now. Wayne Tower is yours. Do with it as you please. And Croc is like, I kind of like to stick to the sewers. That's kind of my whole thing. And Scarecrow's like, right, I get it, totally. But this is Wayne Tower. So take it and stop being such a prick about this. So at that point, we see the fight between the Arkhamites and the Blackgate people, as well as Bane's henchmen, is still going on out in the streets. We see there's a family there who call out Bane's mercenaries and just like, oh, why don't you get out of here, you mercenaries? And he's just like, oh, all right, let's make an example of you. And he goes and tries to punch the husband in the face. Turns out it's Clayface, who just immediately absorbs this guy and takes him down. And he's like, all right, I'm coming after you. Why don't you pick on your own size? And then Clayface gets frozen in solid ice, and we see that it is Emperor Penguin using one of Mr. Freeze's guns. And just like, oh yeah, Bane was right. You guys at Arkham just always blab in the middle of your fights. You never know when to... And then Poison Ivy manages to get him as he's blabbing in the middle of his fight, wrapping him up with vines. And she's just like, hey, Emperor Penguin, remember me? We kind of had a story together in the backups of Detective Comics. Anyway, Arkham rules, bitch. So at that point, Bane steps up, grabs Poison Ivy, lifts her up and just throws her down to the ground and says, hey, you Emperor Penguin? And he's like, mm-hmm. So he uses some defoliant spray to get rid of the vines on Emperor Penguin, freeing him, and then immediately punches him in the face, snapping his neck. So Bane delivers Emperor Penguin's corpse to Penguin, just like, there, our end of the deal is held up. Me and you are chill now. Like, you got to give me my information. Where are the Talons? And Penguin's like, Bane, out here in Batman or in Gotham without Batman, it's totally crazy. But not you and me. We're higher society than these other lowlifes. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, Cobblepot, I do not care about whatever it is you're talking about. Just tell me what I need to know. And Cobblepot tells him, like, look, I don't know exactly where they're at, but I know that Scarecrow is holding up in Wayne Towers, so that's a pretty good place to start, at least. Also, there's something that you need to understand, Bane. The Arkham inmates are going nuts out there, and that's while they still know that you are around and you are a threat. You don't scare them like Batman did. You're not Batman. And Bane takes that personally. So he goes back to Blackgate. A bunch of his men are getting patched up. And one of them is like, hey, Bane, could we have some basic supplies or like anything? And he's just like, screw you, I'm busy. And he goes down to a lower level. There's a bunch of supplies, like ironworking supplies. And he starts crafting himself some armor in the shape of Batman's cowl and crest. And he puts it all on. And he's like, all right, Batman lives. So we see Croc is bringing all of his people into Wayne Tower and just like, hey guys, I know that you want to stay down in the sewer, but we can really make this work. I'm feeling pretty good about this. We can take over this city. And as they're all cheering for King Croc, Batman, who's of course actually Bane, bursts in through the window and just starts wailing on him. And Croc does fight back. He does start biting down on Batman's stuff. And it's a pretty bloody fight, all things considered, but Bane quickly ends it by taking his crest off of his chest, which is like 2 inches thick of solid steel, and just bashing Croc's head over. And then he picks Croc up and throws him out the window. And mind you, they're at like the top floor, so he has quite a ways to go down. So as Croc is falling, Bane looks down and he's like, there, I took out their strongest guy. Now nobody has any reason to think they could stand against me. They overestimated him. They're going to underestimate me. And I'm going to get my goddamn talons back. So, yeah, that's what Bane is doing. It's a very quick read. It's very fast. It does seem like we dropped some of the subplots that were going on in previous issue. Like the whole Jim Gordon getting the warden out of Blackgate. Like that all just went away. And I think all the better for it. I think that this issue flowed a lot better when we're focusing just on what is Bane and the Arkham people, like what's their focus? What are they aiming for? Beyond that, it's a fine issue. I can't say it's standout in any way. It's probably just a straight 7 if I have to give it a rating, but it's perfectly suitable for what it is. I do think this leads a lot more into what we're going to be doing with the back 3 issues, back 3 and a special of, yeah, we're going to see Bane basically taking on this role as the Batman while Batman is gone, and he'll have his own dark twist to it and how he's handling Gotham's quote-unquote criminals of the Arkhamites. So, yeah, all in all, I'm interested still, but it's not a great issue, so a flat 7's good enough.